Sorry, you can come hang. Up you get. There you go.
You really just wanted to be in featured.
So we made a film. And we thought it'd be a really good opportunity here to kind of reflect, talk about, and see what we thought about the process and about the film in general. Maybe even break down some of the scenes that we did in the film. So, welcome, we're DOMnWIL, and let's have a chat. Yeah. So you essentially built and created this entire piece, really, from the beginning. And it was a process to get to the start. I would love to know, so I don't think I've asked you properly this before, was there any points during that writing process that you kind of gave up on the piece or didn't want to go through with it? Or was this one of the first ones that you felt that you wanted to actually commit to all the way through?
This was definitely the first one I wanted to commit to, because that was the whole thing for this. Like the whole reason and like drive for it was like, this is going to be the first one I like go through and do the whole thing for. And like finish start to end, no matter how long it takes, like I'm going to finish this. There obviously was times where I kind of just like left it for a bit and just
let it simmer.
And didn't really think about it too much and stuff, but it was always sitting in the back of my mind for the last, couldn't even get however. It definitely took longer than what it should have.
Oh, totally. I mean, if we really broke it down, we could have shot the whole thing in maybe a weekend. Yeah. But schedules and multiple people and it was a lot.
So sat on my brain that whole time, and it was just like if I wasn't doing it, it was just like a kind of like a guilt thing of like, you know, you set out to do this thing, so you need to do it. My favorite scene to the whole piece,
whether that be like written, visually, anything. Like, what's your favorite scene?
Probably the first scene, the park, because that was the whole initial thing was like from that first scene. It was meant to, you know, the whole thing was meant to just be in that park.
True, yeah, it was. This whole script changed 3 times?
3 times, three times it changed to the whole thing. The more thing I love about that scene more is because it was literally just us 3 in that whole day. Like, and there were so many things that was just happening that day. Everything kind of like just ended up coming together like how I wanted it to.
Minus the ultimate frisbee. You can't make this video and not talk about the ultimate frisbee.
I mean, you'd have to. The cherry on top of that day, we found the perfect spot for it. And the scene where they run in and they sit down on the ground, that was initially the first location and where the whole thing was meant to be taking place.
And we're meant to come back there after.
And it was meant to finish there. And that was where it was meant to do. But that was also the goal of an ultimate frisbee course.
Like, they set up the goalpost that morning and we were like,
and then, so then we had to move, unfortunately. So that first scene there to where the dialogue and stuff is 2 completely different areas. So I mean, with magic, you would never know.
With a trolley of gear through the grass and like all of that.
An actual trolley, like a Coles trolley through the park.
It was.
Yeah.
Damn, that's right.
Yeah. That holds like the day of shooting, everything of it is just
like the start of the whole thing.
The start of it. It's kind of what lit that fire to keep going and doing it all.
Well, once I remember when we dumped that first set of footage, we were both like,
we were like, fuck,
we're onto something.
And we're like, we're doing something now. Like, we're not just talking about it.
It looks good, it's lit nice. Like, it just, I think it was a moment.
So what did you find the most challenging thing, whether it be like, because you were basically my second set of eyes and acting as well, like what did you find the most, like, kind of from your point of view, like the hardest bit or the most challenging part of this short film?
I think the hardest part for me was having that split brain and being interested in wanting to help as much as I could to like set lights up and set stands and talk about scene and shot. Because I remember there was one scene, it was the therapist bit. Yeah. And we were setting up shot and we were going back and forth, just like, why isn't this looking the way we wanted to? Until we landed on that first shot of Tyler where he's just like staring at the camera and that's like perfect. Yeah. But just in that moment, having to flip it on my side, I was like, oh crap, I got to put actor head back on and be in a thing. So I think watching it back I even said to my partner that there was a few moments throughout where I don't think the acting was the best it could be because I was split-minding it the whole time, which is not a bad thing, but
what ended up having to...
Yeah, we just made it happen. I think it looks beautiful. I just think there's a few moments where if I was focused on the one job, I think I could have delivered more.
Yeah, and I mean that goes for
Yeah.
the same on this side.
Yeah, I bet.
If
yeah.
I could just have not done everything that done, I think that would have just been like, it would have just been a completely different film.
Yeah, you would have just focused on only visuals.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to worry about where audio was set up. You wouldn't have to
Yeah.
worry about where lights were. You just go, make it look like this. I want it to look like this. And then you just set shot and you
Yeah.
call it a day.
That's it.
Yeah, do it.
We're not doing it anymore after that.
no.
That was the first and last.
Yeah.
First and last time we're doing something like that.
I think as well, the beauty of, I don't know if people watching this have seen, but we had a small gathering and we aired the film and made it go live on social media and everywhere while people watched it live. It was a cool little, I don't know, symbolic moment.
Yeah.
And we met a really cool group of people that are happy to get in on these more.
Yeah.
So we're really grateful to have that little community that's starting to build up. So we shouldn't have to do this anymore. Where did you have the most, whether it's resistance to like, be like, shit, is this the right thing to be making?
Yeah.
And it's like that kind of imposter syndrome, or if it was just like a frustration, like this isn't working, why?
Yeah, it definitely would have been in the directing side of it. Just because it was obviously like the first one I'm doing, and that's kind of like where I want to go with, like it's where I want to move into and like continue doing is like the directing side of stuff and all that. So I think it was a bit of like, not a barrier, but like almost like a thing of like, you guys are here, you're waiting for me to direct you in a sense. So like I think
And you
it
were
was
also wearing different hats as well.
at the same
so it's
time.
like,
Yeah.
now direct us on top of it all. Totally.
So yeah, like trying to figure out that stuff and really trying to get the message across, the scene across, the feeling, like trying to get that out, I think it was something I really enjoyed because it was such a new experience of like working with actors and not just faces and talent, that stuff like that. Like you really
quote
trying
unquote talent that you normally get.
for like social media campaigns and stuff like that. Like you're really trying to focus on
nuance,
emotion, like beats, like just looks and stuff like that. Like you're really
and you hold that for a little bit longer because it just reads so beautifully.
Like just the small things like that, which I feel like it's hard. It was a two-sided thing. Like I really struggled with it, but I really loved it because it was just like, it's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like,
it's just the first experience to it, being like, oh, this is actually how it feels. Yeah.
And then I'd say probably the other thing would be the writing. The writing in a sense of like trying to stick to it and not trying to read it and then redo it again and then do it and then redo it again and then that. Like it was more of just like especially for this kind of project, it was more like I said at the start, do it, get it done, and then that kind of breaks that barrier and you can now that you've done it, you can keep doing it. I think it was rewrote it through after the first day of shooting, rewrote the ending.
Yes,
we shot the first scene and I said, we need to change the ending. I don't want to finish it like how we're going to finish it now. So we paused on shooting and I rewrote
You
stuff.
did it over a week, I think.
Yeah.
So you paused one weekend and then we shot the next week or something,
So I was like, no, I need a break and we're gonna come back to this and we're gonna start from this, which we did.
Yep.
Then we did it all. We shot the film, shot all that stuff, and then it was mid shoot, and then it just like came in my head and I was like, holy crap, like
we need this ending.
I need to finish it on this. So then I redid the ending.
We did a new cast member and we put a casting out.
So it was mid shoot. I was like to Dom, I sent him a text of the script. Like I texted him the script and was like,
I'm gonna try and find it for the video.
I literally texted him, was like, yo, this is how we're gonna finish it. We need to find a therapist now. Like we need to find someone to do this. So we were like, do it. I went down to Sydney for the weekend and I was like, and we put the
true. Yeah.
And then I was like, cool, we'll put the post out. And we were like, no one's gonna come back.
We put out our social media handles and pages aren't big by any means, especially like the ones that we've got together, like the DOMnWIL one.
Yeah.
We posted it on DOMnWIL and just shared it through our own, and we had 15 people come through. I was like, whoa.
So many people come through, which was like honestly such a surreal feeling, and it felt too good to be true because I was like, how the hell is people wanting to like?
People are auditioning, like ready to like learn scripts and do self-tests to get on the shoot, which is sick.
Which was the most. It was so crazy because it was like, fuck, like this is cool. It's like nothing.
I'm usually on the other end of it. I'm usually them.
So it was just such a surreal experience. And then we ended up getting Tyler, who was honestly perfect for the role. Like, it was perfect.
He killed it.
And then we ended up. I said to Dom, I was like, no more. We can't rechange it. So we ended up leaving it at that. And then
I think it was the best beat to finish on. It was nice.
But going back on track to what I said,
waffle
the
bit.
writing and sticking to it was probably the most challenging part of just being like accepting what it is at the moment and just being okay with it.
Yeah.
Things can change along the way, but I think trying to just stick to like your guns and know that like what you are putting down is.
Because you finished the script in Japan.
Yeah.
I think you finished the first draft in Japan while you were there, right?
Yeah, first
which is
draft
cool.
in Japan. Well, like, of the
finished.
Yeah, the finished one. We finalized it there and I sent it to you. And then I flew back and then I was like, all right,
Let's start it.
let's get started. So there's a shot I want to get your thoughts and like into your head about is the first therapist scene breaking, like straight into the therapist scene.
Yeah.
It's how we shot that.
Shot or lit?
How were your intentions of being in front of the camera from that scene? Because we shot, you were sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
We had the camera probably about.
Oh, that one. I think that's Tyler's.
Your scene. As soon as you're introduced into that shot.
That's literally like, it just cuts and it's my like mug.
Yeah.
It didn't really faze me as much as I thought it would, honestly, because the camera was just close to my face. It was just a bit like, what's up? I think the bit that was wigging me out that I wanted to make sure didn't look terrible was I had what was it, 11mm?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 11mm camera, which is super wide, was up in my grill, and I was focusing on Tyler, which would have been maybe 1.5 meters away originally. Yeah. And when you're that close to a camera and you focus that far away, your eyes actually look like they go out. And I was like, ooh, I don't think it works. So the thing I was focused on was making sure that my eye line at least looked like my eyes were straight.
Yeah.
Because it just wouldn't have had the right.
Yeah, it gives you that real goldfish.
Yeah, you really look like a fish. Yeah. So I think that was my most thing I wanted to make sure I just hit for that because, And then just zoning out and being in my head while there's a camera in your grill is just never the most natural thing because you're like, all right, cool, now daydream, go. Yeah. And you're like, oh. You're just trying to like get into your head and like think about something else.
As terms of scene, what did you find the most enjoyable like scene for it? Like to shoot? No, to act.
Oh yes, to be in.
To be in from your side.
I really loved the first conversation scene lying in the grass.
Yeah. Why?
Because it just feels, when you get to bounce with someone and have a chat and talk and you really get a moment to think about what they're saying and the way you are, it just feels good.
Yeah.
Like I actually felt like I was having the conversation with Connie in that moment. It was cool and it was nice. And then I think the next time we came back to revisit again, we went straight into the multicolor head against head scene, which is remember that shot?
I forgot it.
I think that moment was just like the best.
I was gonna say the same thing, like that moment, just because we're literally in my study,
and it's literally as big as his couch, pretty much.
Like it was just such a like a little small room. We blacked out the whole thing, just
with a blanket behind us.
Yeah, literally, because it was against the white wall, so you could see the white. So I had to put like a dark blanket. Like it was just so jerry rigged, but
it was not.
The moment, like, because I don't know if it was just like literally the fact that it was just the room was absolutely hazed out. Like it just.
We learned that day more haze.
More haze is everything.
More haze.
Just haze everything.
You have a question? More haze.
More haze. I think it was just literally like what you said. Like everyone just really hit into this one moment, and everyone was kind of just like feeling it. You could feel it in the room.
So cool.
But yeah, I'd say that.
And just to riff off that, storytelling wise, how do you want to pull on those moments to make them become more common for future shoots? Like when we were in that room, we're all together and it all just like clicked. Yeah. What do you think you did as a director or we did as a cast or whatever that made it happen, that you can like be like, cool, I'm going to take that energy and how that happened and put it everywhere now?
I think, to be honest, the whole reason we kind of got into that feel in that day was I think we were all quite open and quite vulnerable with each other. Like when we were in that room, like everyone kind of knew where.
This is the second day.
This was the second day of shooting. Like we were all kind of on the same idea of like where everyone was feeling stuff. Like we already knew each other well. It was more so of like I don't know, like, I think it was just like one of those moments where you just kind of, it's almost like when you meet someone and you go, I just like this person because we're connecting on a...
We're thinking about,
Yeah. You just go like, you're just connecting on a level because you both understand each other really well. And I think that's what that moment was. Everyone understood really well of like what we were looking for. It was a very...
It felt safe.
It was, yeah, that's it. Like the environment, like everyone was quite vulnerable, and to be vulnerable, like the space needs to feel safe to do that. And
something that'll be harder, the bigger the crews get, the harder that'll be.
Yeah.
Challenge.
Well, that's the thing. And I like, it'd be like in those moments, I'd want to make like a core crew for that. The actual movement of it wasn't a kiss. Like it wasn't like something
it could have been so easy to just make it a kiss.
Yeah,
and
and make it a kiss and like,
cool.
yeah, all of that. It was literally a moment of just like touching foreheads.
Yeah.
And then that was it. A moment of connection. Yeah, I don't know, I'm getting goosebumps now.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's such a beautiful thing.
It's just the moment of it and what it actually is.
Yeah.
I think is just the reason. I don't know, I think it's just being vulnerable and making that spot that you're in safe for everyone to be able to do what they want.
Yeah.
And like, no, all right.
I think that's pretty well it though.
I think
that's a long.
We definitely spoke way. We're like, we won't talk much because
Yeah,
like no. And we spoke. Like, I think this is really the first time we've actually
Yeah, well, I wanted
probably
today to
sat down and spoken about
and really
film
reflected
together.
on it.
Well, that's it. Yeah, we haven't we never got to do our little celebration of doing it all.
We will probably be around socials more this year. I think we'll be doing more.
Way more this year. Socials will be. We've set a plan.
We've got a plan, so you'll soon see more of us. But yeah, we're DOMnWIL, and we'll see you soon at some point.
Oh,
done.
My leg's dead, bro. I was trying to hide my foot that whole time.